Here's another video for steroid injection therapy technique for hallux limitus. My recommended technique is to use a small 2.5 milliliter syringe, a green 21 gauge green needle to draw up the fluid with, and a 23 gauge blue needle to inject with. It just seems to work about best for these joints. You can go smaller and use orange. Triamcinolone Kenalog is my injectative choice. You would then palpate the joint line, mark up the anatomy, use an appropriate skin prep, and then start by distracting and plantar-flexing the toe. And you might see some puckering of the joint, although this can be fairly minimal if there's quite a lot of arthritis present. Start from a dorsomedial direction, inserting away from the extensor hallucis longus tendon. You can go dorsolateral, but bear in mind that the brevis tendon comes in from a dorsolateral approach, so it would always be a good idea to try and avoid that. You need to make sure that you're actually in the joint, given the length of the needle, and remember the curvature of the joint. What you don't want to be doing is hitting the base of the proximal phalanx with the tip of the needle and creating further damage. And my biggest tip with these is that the injections for hallux limitus works much better where it's an actual joint pain, an inflamed joint, rather from a dorsal or dorsomedial exostosis type presentation. This is what I mean about the curvature of the joint and bearing in mind the anatomy. So better to go a bit more medial to lateral than proximal to distal with the approach of the needle. And bear in mind that there is minimal joint space. In fact, really there's no joint space because the joint is always going to be in contact with each other from head of metatarsal to base of proximal phalanx, which is why you've got to distract and plantar-flex the toe. This X-ray shows end-stage arthritis, and it's probably too far gone for injection therapy to be of any meaningful use, but just to demonstrate how difficult it can be for the needle to get inside the joints when there's quite a lot of deformed architecture around the articulation. And then just a short video of me doing the technique. Blue needle, searching for the joint space, and it's about to be there. I've distracted and plantar-flexed the toe. You can see I've marked up the anatomy. I've done some skin prep. And my injectate is a mix of local anaesthesia and triamcinolone for both a diagnostic and a therapeutic shot. I'm confirmed that the needle inside the joint, and I'm happy that all of that is in the articulation itself. About to take the needle out, a little bit of cotton wool just to check that there's no bleeding.